Hello everyone, this is pinkysim. Today I'm building a vampire shotgun house in The Sims 4. I'm actually building this house for my save file, which is just a personal project I'm doing, and I'm not going to post a build for every build in my save file, but I was just liking this one, so I wanted to post a video. But yeah, this is the Willow Creek world. It's the world based on New Orleans. It's the world that just comes with the base game. And since it's based on New Orleans, I wanted to have a lot of New Orleans architecture. So this is a shotgun house. These are very unique to New Orleans, and yeah, so I wanted to fill this small neighborhood up with them because it just fit. The lots are smaller and it just made sense. So yeah, this one's for vampires, so I use a lot of dark red and dark brown, and I use the dark red siding from Spa Day and the dark brown windows from Strangerville, and I just really like that vibe it gave, and use a black roof, so that's basically the same color scheme I use on the inside. But yeah, so this is a shotgun house, and the reason these houses are called shotgun houses is actually because supposedly if you shoot a shotgun through the front door, it'll go through all the doors and out the back door. So yeah, there's a fun fact for you, that's why it's called a shotgun house. But yeah, so I'm just doing the outside now, and I add a lot of plants to this because I just wanted this area to look really lush, and I also thought, this sim is a vampire, he'd want his privacy, so I put up a big hedge around the lot, and you'll see that. But yeah, so I wanted to do a different kind of color scheme than just all black because I did the goth house already, which if you want to see, you could download it off my gallery. My gallery ID is pinkysim, just like my YouTube name. But yeah, that one was like all black, like it was completely black even on the inside. So for this one, I didn't really want to do that, and I was just messing around with the shotgun houses and different combinations of siding and window colors, and I had this dark red siding from Spa Day that I was looking at, and when I put these dark brown windows from the Strangerville pack, I just was like really in love with it. I just loved how it looked. But now I'm working on the living room, and this one is very brown and black and red, just like the outside, and I end up using a base game couch. Yeah, this base game couch, and I use a rug from the Werewolves pack. I just have really been loving that rug. I just think it's so pretty, and it comes in these two black swatches. One is more brown and one's more blue, and this brown one just worked perfectly in this room. Yeah, and I just had a little hint of red with that chair there. I use the tool mod a little bit in this house just to size some objects up and just to set them at the right height and things like that, but you don't need it to download it. But yeah, the tool mod by Twisted Maxi, it's a really cool mod, so you should check it out. But I'm playing around with the curtains here, and I end up going for these base game ones, but I didn't like the curtain rod because I just thought the color was a little bit too light, so I actually overlaid it with this curtain rod piece from the Desert Luxe kit, and I just find that piece so useful for covering up things and adding detail. And yeah, it had like perfect dark brown swatch, so you'll see me add that in a second. I'm messing around with plants here, but I don't know, it didn't really fit the dark gothic vibe that I was going for to have those plants in here, so I just didn't end up putting any. But I put this vampire's lamp. I thought that added to the gothic vibe. But yeah, here I'm adding those curtain rods, and I just think it covered up that color nicely, and yeah, it made everything blend in a little more. Adding some base game sconces here, and I do change up the fireplace a little bit, and I put some books on top. This vampire sim, he's like a bit of a bookworm, so I have a lot of books around, and I have that little reading nook with the chair there with the lamp. So yeah, there's a lot of books around, and I did have to move this coffee table a little bit because he couldn't light the fireplace. It was in the way, but I just moved it a little bit, but it should be fine when you download it. Everything should work just fine. I don't think you'll have any problems. But now I'm finding a bookcase, which, you know, he's a bookworm, so definitely wanted to have a big bookcase in here. And I just had a little table with a scale from Discovery University. Now I'm trying to get stuff for the entryway. I tried to do this umbrella stand, but I wasn't really liking the bright colors. But this coat rack from the base game just worked perfectly. It had all three colors. It had the brown, the red, and the black, so I just really loved that. And I just added a little light switch. I wish those light switches came in a black swatch. They just have white and cream. Cream looks okay in here, but yeah, I would have liked a black one. I feel like that should be added, so hopefully it is. But now I'm working on the dining room, and I ended up going for a circle table in here and just like kind of shoving it off. And technically the back two chairs you can't get to normally, but if you sit in one chair and then you get up next to it, you can actually get in that chair. So technically you can get in there, but it's just a little bit of extra effort. But it's just a house for one sim, so you don't really need those chairs anyways, but I just thought they looked cool. But this room does go through a little bit of change. I just wasn't really liking it when I got to the other rooms. I kept looking back at it, so I come back to it, but I just wanted to show you kind of the process of me trying to work on it. But yeah, I think just the plants and the paintings on the wall, I don't know why, but they just look too light to me. So I made a few changes to make it look a little more gothic, and you'll see that in a minute. Now I'm working on the kitchen, and actually for vampires in Sims 4 you don't need a kitchen because they just drink blood, they don't eat food. But I thought, you know, since he's trying to blend in and try to pretend he's a human, it would just make sense for him to have a kitchen. So I just made one anyways, and it just made it basically completely black. There's a little bit of brown in here, but it's mostly just black. I used this brick wallpaper from the new high school pack, and I just liked how it looked in here. It kind of gives it like a almost like dungeon-y vibe, but I feel like for a vampire it's a cool look. But I'm adding in the cabinets now, and I ended up getting rid of some of them and adding some shelves. And I just had some like bowls and just some little decor, and you won't see me do it, but you'll see it in the screenshots. I add some plasma juice, which the vampires can drink instead of drinking blood, because I just thought that'd be a cute little detail for the vampire sim. I end up adding a painting in here that is from the fitness stuff pack, and I was just going through a lot of paintings, and you wouldn't think from looking at the painting that it has this cool swatch, but it has this cool just like grayscale black and white picture of just a forest, and I like using that one a lot because it's really neutral. A lot of the paintings in this game are really overstyled and everything, so I just like that painting. Yeah, you'll see it there. Yeah, really quick, but you'll see it in screenshots, I think. But yeah, so I'm doing the bathroom now. It went through a lot of changes. I had to cut a lot of it out, but yeah, it's just kind of a basic all black bathroom. But yeah, it was okay. I wasn't crazy about it, but it's just a bathroom. Now I'm working on the bedroom, and this is probably my favorite room. I really like how it came together. Use a lot of black and brown in here. It might be a little bit of hints of red, but I just really like the different shades of brown with the black. I thought it gave it a really cool gothic look, and I really liked it. And I use these blinds in here instead, so there's not much light. I feel like he likes to stay in here a lot and sleep and just stay out of the light because, you know, he's a vampire. I changed these side tables because I go for this base game, like, matching set of furniture. That's this, it's not quite black, it's like really dark brown, but I just really liked how it looked. And I used the werewolves rug again. I didn't want to repeat the same rug, but I just really loved it, so I used the same rug in both rooms. I do switch it out in the speed build in the living room. I switch it out for the paranormal rug, but I just put it back. You'll see in the screenshots because I just liked it a lot more. It brought in the black and the brown, so I really liked that. In here I'm putting in that matching furniture set of the dark brown, and I put in a few more pieces that match it. And I put a picture there of Vlad. I'm probably not going to have Vlad in my save file, but I thought he could be like a movie vampire, like a Nosferatu type of character. So yeah, I just put that in there. But yeah, another bookshelf here because, you know, he loves to read, so I just thought it would make sense. And it's in that same matching wood tone, so I really like that. And I do end up adding a mirror in here, even though, you know, he's a vampire. It doesn't really make sense, just because I like how it looked. I'm not sure if you see that in the speed build. I might have added it later, but yeah, I just wanted to say that. It's just for decorative purposes. That's it. And I use this paranormal seat for another reading nook, and I really love that chair. I think it's super cute. And this last piece, it's a corner piece. It also matches that wood tone, and yeah, I really liked it. I moved the door here because it just kind of made sense for a shotgun house for the doors to be aligned, so I thought it made more sense. So yeah, so now I'm going back to the dining room, and I'm making it kind of look more gothic. I use that candelabra. I just like that a lot more than the plant. I'm using this black paneling on the back wall. I use the spade black wall just to make it look like it's just full black paneling on that wall. And I have to change out the window because I don't know if you could tell, but there's those little brown pieces from the window peeking up. I tried to cover it here, but I just didn't like it, so I swapped out the window, but I thought it looked okay from the outside. I add in that same chandelier, and I think I just add in a base game, like black and white rug, and then I really like this room a lot better. I feel like that kind of just made it look how I wanted to. Yeah, there I add in the mirror, which, you know, doesn't make sense for a vampire, but I just thought it looked cool. I'm doing the outside now. This is the big hedge I was talking about. It's just for privacy because he's a vampire. He wouldn't want a lot of sun coming in, but also not a lot of people, so I just think he'd want to be closed off and in his own private area. So I use this big hedge from Debug, and I put a fence under it so that he wouldn't walk through it, because sometimes the Debug items, they don't recognize them as items, so they'll like walk right through them. But yeah, so I tried to put that fence there to stop that from happening, so hopefully that helps. I couldn't put it here because it was on the edge of the lot, but on the other one I did. So I use these base scheme trees on each side, not the ones here now, but I replaced them. They're a little more pointy, but I just like the look. They kind of look kind of gothic, and yeah, those right there. I end up changing the front a little bit. Instead of making it this rectangle shape, I kind of add some angles to it. I just thought it made it look a little more interesting, and you'll see that in a second. And then I add some planters right in front of that, and I liked how that looked. I added a lot of greenery here because this neighborhood in Willow Creek, I just wanted it to be very green and lush. We get a lot of rain here, so I figured they'd have, you know, nice bit of greenery, and that would just make sense. And I even put some planters to the side, a little garden, so you'll see that in a second. But yeah, I put a hanging plant and just some little outdoor things like lights, things you need for the porch. I mess around a lot with the trees because I tried to use this one tree, but it was like covering the top of the house, so it was just really annoying to play in the house. So that tree right there, it wasn't disappearing, so I had to get rid of it because it just would be too annoying to actually play in the house. But I just replaced it, I think, with a base game tree that just worked a little bit better. But you'll see that in a second. I had some terrain paint around the whole build because I feel like it just makes it look a little more natural, like there's dirt around the foundation. I had an outdoor trash can just so it's fully functional, and I got the mailbox out there in the front of the house. It's attached to the house. It's that one from Snowy Escape, I think. I really like that mailbox. And here I'm adding in those planter boxes. I just make a little garden here. I mean, he's a vampire, so he's not gonna go out too much to garden, but I figure at night he can water his plants and just have them growing. I put in some, it's poison fireleaf, I think? Something like that. It's from Outdoor Retreat, and I just figured that's something a vampire would grow, so yeah. And I added these windows at the top. I really liked the look of that. It just gave the build a little more detail, and after I did that, I just liked the house a lot more. And I changed up the chimney a little bit. I think that one is from Cottage Living, I believe. And over here, I was messing around with putting some plants, and I do end up putting some plants, but you'll see I end up making a basement, and this is the crypt, and it's just his area for like his coffin and stuff. But I really liked how this turned out, and it doesn't really make sense in New Orleans. They don't have basements, but I just wanted to do it because he's a vampire, and I thought it made sense. And I make this little area you can enter with a drain and stuff, make it a little more realistic, so the water could drain there. But yeah, so it's really dark and gothic down here, and it's probably my favorite room. I just really like how this one came out. I had a lot of stone down here to really make it look just like a dark, dungeony basement. But yeah, I have the coffin here so you could sleep there. Add some candles. I even had a little dresser because I thought this would be like his second bedroom. He could just stay down here when he wants to stay away from the world. And I put those vampires paintings, and I put a base game side table with a candle on right behind it. And even a little chair to sit down in, so it's I think, fully functional bedroom, technically, for a vampire. But yeah, so here I'm adding the candelabra. I just really liked how this room looked with all the candles. And you'll see in a second, but I end up adding some, it's not wainscoting, but it's like these wall panels from the high school pack. And I really liked how that made it look. I just thought it made it look so much better. So you'll see that in a second. I'm just adding some trees out here to kind of hide that area away, because I don't think he'd want anyone to know about that. I mean, he doesn't want anyone to know he's a vampire in the first place, so yeah, it just makes sense. Just adding a fence here so he doesn't fall down and die. Use that fence from vampires. I was looking, yeah, here I'm doing the wall panels, and I just really loved how it looked after that. You'll see it closer in the screenshots, but yeah, I just thought those looked really cool. I love those objects from high school pack. Yeah, I'm just doing some last details to the outside. I'm adding some lights, because I figure he's only going to be out there at night when the sunlight's not there, so there's got to be some lights there for him at least. I had some planters out here. I use half walls because the deck is actually a foundation, so you can actually connect walls to it, which is cool. So I just used some half walls, and I put on that stone pattern I used in the basement, and I thought it looked really cool. And I ended up adding a little more privacy to the house. I added in this fence and a little gate, just because I really think he'd want it to be private here, and I added in some more greenery just to make it look all nice and landscaped. I figure he like hires a gardener or something, because he doesn't want to spend all this time in the sun as a vampire. So yeah, so I'm just adding a little more greenery. Oh, I had this car with the tool mod on the street. It's a cool little idea for these smaller neighborhoods where you don't want to put a garage. I mean, not that the cars even work, but it makes sense. The cars would be on the street and for a house like this, and that car just really looked like a vampire car to me, so yeah, I put that one up there. And just doing a few of these plants from Snowy Escape. I feel like they really fit the New Orleans world. I don't know why. But yeah, thank you for watching. My gallery ID is pinkysim, just like my YouTube name. You can download this build if you want to. Like and subscribe if you liked the video, and yeah, I hope you have a nice day. Bye!